The scan results flickered across my diagnostic terminal, and I had to blink all three of my ocular membranes to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Run it again, I told my assistant. Krell, he twitched his antenna in what passed for a shrug among our species. Commander Vix, I've already run it 7 times. The results are consistent. I leaned closer to the holographic display, watching the rotating image of the human skeleton suspended in brilliant blue light. The creature called itself Marcus Webb, a freight hauler who'd been injured during a loading accident on Station Gamma 9. Standard procedure: scan the patient, identify the damage, apply regenerative gel, send them on their way. Except nothing about this scan was standard. So let me get this straight, I said slowly, feeling my throat sacs inflate with stress. When the Galactic Council asked what percentage of human physiology could be classified as weaponized, the medical database responded with what, exactly? Krell pulled up the file, his claws clicking against the console. 100%, sir. Specifically highlighting the skeletal structure. I laughed. It came out as more of a wheeze. Really? That's absurd. Skeletons are support structures. They're scaffolding. How in the 17 hells of Proxima can a support structure be a weapon? Perhaps you should ask the human? Krell suggested, gesturing toward the medical bay where Marcus Webb sat on an examination platform, swinging his legs like he didn't have a care in the universe. The impact from the cargo container had broken 3 of his ribs. 3. And he'd walked himself to our facility, cracking jokes with the security officer at the entrance that I approached him cautiously. You never knew with humans. Mr. Webb, I began, trying to keep my voice steady and professional. Your scan results are causing some confusion in our system. He grinned, showing those flat, grinding teeth that somehow still managed to look threatening. Doc, if this is about the metal plate in my skull from that bar fight on Kepler 442b, I can explain. You have metal in your skull. My voice went up an octave. Oh yeah? Took a bottle to the head. Doctors said my skull cracked like a bottle. He laughed at his own joke. But here's the thing, document. The bone grew back around the plate, fused with it. My physician said human bones are wild like that. They break, they heal, they come back stronger. It's called remodeling or something fancy. I felt my breathing accelerate. Your bones become stronger after they break. Sure do. It's pretty neat actually. Got this theory that our ancestors spent so much time falling out of trees and running from predators that our bodies just said, you know what? Let's make the frame tougher every time it gets damaged. He stretched, and I heard multiple joints pop in sequence. The sound made me flinch. Why do you ask? I gestured helplessly at the scan. Because our medical database has flagged your entire skeletal system as a weapon. He stopped stretching, looked at the display. Then he started laughing, a deep, rolling sound that echoed through the medical bay. Oh man, that's rich. Wait until I tell the crew. Though, technically it's not wrong. Explain. I wasn't asking. I was demanding. The fate of every medical protocol in this sector might depend on his answer. Marcus stood up, moving with fluid ease despite his broken ribs. Humans and their pain tolerance, another thing that kept me awake during my rest cycles. All right, document. You want the full lecture? Humans have 206 bones in our adult bodies. They're made of calcium phosphate, collagen, and a bunch of other stuff that makes them strong but flexible. You following so far? I nodded, motioning for Krell to start recording. Good. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Those bones, they're not just sitting there looking pretty. They're producing our blood cells, storing minerals, protecting our organs, and yeah, they can absolutely be used as weapons. He held up his fist. These knuckles? Solid bone designed to concentrate force into a small area. My skull? Thick enough to headbutt through a wooden door if I needed to. Which I have, by the way. Long story involving a fire and a jammed lock. You weaponized your own head. I could barely process the information. Doc, humans have been using our skeletons as weapons since before we had language. Elbows for close combat, knees for when someone gets too friendly, the heel of our hand to strike upward, the ridge of our forearm to block. We're walking, talking, biological weapons platforms, and the skeleton is the frame that makes it all possible. He sat back down, wincing slightly as his ribs reminded him they were damaged. Plus, get this, if you hit someone hard enough with a bone, there's breaks and yours get stronger. It's like the universe's most metal upgrade system. I turned to Krell. His face had gone pale blue, the color of deep fear among our kind. "Commander," he whispered, "there are billions of these creatures in the galaxy." Marcus picked up on our distress and raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. Hey, we're friendly. Mostly. Unless you're a pirate. Or a slaver. Or you threaten our trade routes. Or insult our cooking. Or, please stop talking. I interrupted, he shrugged. Fair enough. So about these ribs. You going to fix them, or should I just wait 3 weeks for them to heal naturally? Because honestly, I've got a delivery schedule to keep, and this isn't even in my top 10 most painful injuries. I looked at the scan again, at the framework of weaponized calcium and contempt for mortality that humans carried inside them every moment of every day. And these creatures wanted to join the Galactic Medical Exchange Program. We were doomed. 3 days after Marcus Webb's scan results broke our medical database, I received a summons from the Galactic Council's Biological Assessment Committee. Apparently, flagging an entire species' skeletal system as weaponized required some explanation. Personally, I thought the scan spoke for itself, but bureaucracy waits for no one. I brought Marcus with me. If I was going down for this reporting anomaly, I wanted the walking biological weapon there to defend my conclusions. The committee chambers on Station Osiris-7 were impressive, all vaulted ceilings and crystalline panels that displayed the 16-member species of the council. I recognized Administrator Quelm, a Vortian whose species had hollow bones and considered a firm handshake to be assault. This was going to go well. Commander Vix, Quelm began, her voice translator giving her words a musical quality. You have submitted a medical assessment that classifies human skeletal structure as warfare-grade biology. This is unprecedented. Please explain your reasoning. I stepped forward, feeling my knees wobble slightly. Public speaking was not my strength. Honored Administrator, the classification came directly from our diagnostic systems after scanning Mr. Webb here. The AI cross-referenced human bone density, break force ratios, regenerative capabilities, and combat applications. The conclusion was automatic. Automatic, repeated Quelm flatly. You're telling this committee that you let an AI make a species-wide weapons designation without independent verification. Well, when you put it that way, it sounds bad. I admitted. Marcus cleared his throat. May I speak? 16 sets of eyes, eye stalks, sensory organs, and what I think was a smell-based perception node all focused on him. He didn't even flinch. Humans, go ahead, Mr. Webb, Quelm said, sounding tired already. Right, so here's the thing. I'm a freight hauler, not a soldier. Never been in the military, never thrown a punch outside of self-defense. Mostly just haul cargo from point A to point B without dying. Pretty boring stuff. He paused, looking around the chamber. But yeah, my skeleton is absolutely a weapon. Want me to prove it? That won't be necessary, Quelm said quickly. I insist, said Council Member Thraz, a hulking Grindali whose species prided themselves on their combat prowess. I believe Mr. Webb is exaggerating. Perhaps human cultural bravado. Oh no, Marcus smiled. Not the friendly smile from the medical bay. This was something else, something that made my survival instincts scream. You want a demonstration? All right. Anybody got something hard I can break? A technician nervously brought forward a standard-issue carbon composite data pad, the kind rated to survive drops from orbital height. Marcus took it, examined it, then placed it on the ground. This is called a stomp, he said conversationally. Humans use the heel, which is basically a club made of calcaneus bone, one of the strongest bones in our body. Watch. He raised his foot and brought it down in one smooth motion. The crack echoed through the chamber like a gunshot. The data pad split cleanly and 2.16 council members recoiled. Now, that's just one application, Marcus continued, warming to his topic like a professor giving a lecture. But consider this. Human bones can withstand compression forces of up to 19,000 pounds per square inch. Our femur, the thigh bone, is stronger than concrete. Literally, we have concrete in our legs. Impossible, breathed Thraz, though he looked less certain now. Want to test it? Get your strongest, grip-capable species up here. Have them squeeze my hand. I promise you, my metacarpals will outlast their patience. Marcus flexed his fingers. Or we can talk about headbutts. Humans can generate up to 520 pounds of force with our skulls. I once knew a guy named Dimitri who headbutted his way through a riot shield during a security training exercise. gave himself a concussion, but the shield had to be replaced. I watched the council members exchanging glances. Quelm's translator was having trouble keeping up with her rapid, stressed speech to her assistants. But here's the really fun part, Marcus said, and I recognized that particular tone of voice. He was enjoying this. Everything I just described? That's baseline. That's regular humans who don't train. Military personnel, martial artists, athletes, they condition their bones through repeated stress. Fighters hit bags, boards, each other. Their bones develop microfractures that heal denser and stronger. It's called Wolff's Law. Bone adapts to the loads placed on it. You're saying, Quelm interrupted, that humans deliberately damage their weapons systems to improve them. We call it training, but sure, that works too. Marcus shrugged. And before anyone asks, yes, this applies to the entire skeleton. Ribs can be conditioned to take body shots. Shins can be hardened through repeated impact. Even small bones in the hands. There are humans who train specifically to break things with their heads, their elbows, their knees. We have entire martial arts disciplines built around skeleton-based combat. Thraz stood up, his massive frame towering over the chamber floor. I formally request a physical comparison test. If human bones are truly as formidable as claimed, they should withstand Grindali's strength. Thraz, no. Quelm started, but Marcus was already nodding. Let's do it. Arm wrestling. 5 minutes later, I watched in horrified fascination as Marcus Webb, freight hauler, and apparent ambassador of human durability, locked hands with a Grindali warrior whose species had dominated arena combat for 3 centuries. The rules were simple. First one to break loses. They strained against each other, muscles bulging, tendons standing out like cables. Thraz's face contorted with effort. Marcus gritted his teeth, sweat beading on his forehead. The crowd was silent. Then something popped. Thraz roared, pulling his hand back. 2 of his finger bones had fractured. Marcus flexed his hand, completely intact. Good match. You almost had me there. The chamber erupted into chaos. Council members were shouting, demanding recounts, calling for medical teams. Quelm was furiously typing notes while her assistants tried to calm everyone down. I just stood there, watching my career flash before my eyes. Finally, Quelm called for order. When the chamber settled, she looked directly at me. Commander Vix, after reviewing this evidence, the committee has reached a decision. Your classification of human skeletal structure as weaponized is not only accurate, it was conservative. We're updating the medical database immediately. Furthermore, she continued, ignoring the protests from several members, we're implementing new safety protocols for human medical treatment. And Mr. Webb, we have questions about human military specifications if this is your civilian baseline. Marcus just grinned. Ma'am, you really don't want to know about our special forces. Trust me on that one. As we left the chamber, I turned to Marcus. You enjoyed that way too much. Doc, I've been hauling freight for 8 years, getting treated like fragile cargo by every species I meet. It felt good to remind everyone that humans aren't built to break easy. He stretched, and again his joints popped like small explosions. Besides, now maybe your medical teams will stop acting so surprised when we walk off injuries that would hospitalize most species. He had a point. A terrifying, bone-breaking, completely valid point. The galaxy was going to have to update more than just medical databases. They were going to have to update their entire understanding of what baseline durability meant. And I had a feeling this was just the beginning of those updates. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.